Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, November 7th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So we got a solid little 4-game slate today. Looking like it's going to be a pretty fun one. Got a couple competitive games out there. Yeah, man, so I'm ready to jump in this real quick. Before we do, though, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. I really, really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, let's go. So we'll start at the top. At the point guard spot, we got Damian Lillard going against the Clippers team. It's going to be a tough matchup going against Patrick Beverly. But at the same time, it's Damian Lillard. The guy shoots the ball from just over half court. That's his range. I'm coming off a tough loss. Portland's coming off a tough loss against the Warriors. So I think this is a game they're really going to want to bounce back and get a win. Flip side, I think you got the Clippers who are coming off a tough loss against Giannis and the Bucks last night. So I think this game is going to be a very competitive game. I like Damian Lillard at 10.3. I don't know if he's the absolute best guy I want to pay up for in this slate, but I definitely think you want to get some kind of exposure, even if it is limited in GPP. We got Kemba Walker. The guy's just been playing very well, out of his mind, giving you a solid floor. He's got you at least, 42 fantasy points in every game but the very first game of the season, shooting the ball well, getting his teammates involved. Kemba Walker going back to Charlotte where he started his career. I think this is a great spot for him. I think it's going to be a little bit added chip on his shoulder, trying to show, the home crowd that he was there for the past couple years. What they're missing. I think Kemba Walker is a great play today at 9,500. On the flip side, you got Terry Rozier, who's been with Boston for the past couple years. He started the season off a little sluggish, really starting to pick it up. He scored at least 20 real-life points, 3 straight games, playing a ton of minutes, filling up the stat sheet. The same thing I talked about with Kemba Walker is the same exact thing with Terry Rozier. I think he'll have a little bit of chip on his shoulder going against his old team. I really like both of these guys today. I think both of them are in very good spots. I don't know. Oh, man, it's tough to choose. I mean, I like the fact you can save 1,900 with Terry Rozier, but Kemba Walker is just giving you such a solid floor. I think you probably would go a little bit more with him in cash games and maybe a little bit more Rozier GPP. But you can go with Terry Rozier in cash games, in my opinion, on the smaller slate and feel comfortable with it. I think he still is giving you a solid floor. Then we'll move down from those two guys. Ricky Rubio, the guy's been playing very well. He fills up the stat sheet, does a little bit of everything. I like him. 7,000, you need 35 for value. He's got you at least 30 in every game but one this year. I think Ricky Rubio is a guy that's really looking solid tonight going against Miami. And then if we want to pay down a little bit, I'll throw a couple guys out there for you. First guy I'll talk about, Patrick Beverly. The guy just does a little bit of everything. He's scrappy. Coming off a really good game last night against Milwaukee. I understand he had to score a little bit more, do a little bit more with no Kawhi Leonard. But, he's a guy that does a little bit of everything. And at 5,300, all you need is 26, 27 for value. He's averaging 25 on the season. They're really going to want to get this win. He's going to get all up on Damian Lillard. And, I think Patrick Beverly's a guy you can look at 5,300. Strictly GPP play, trying to get you some value. 3,700. Shamit. He's a guy that, he doesn't really jump out as, oh, my God, I want to play Shamit. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just looking for a little value. And the guy plays the minutes. He plays around 30 minutes a game. If he gets hot, I think he can get you at least 5 times value. This is where you can pay up elsewhere. So Shamit's a guy you can look at as a value play. Moving on to the shooting guard spot, there's a couple guys that we can look at. First thing first, we will start with you can go with Jimmy Butler at just 9,300. I don't know if I want to pay this price tag, but he's definitely in play, especially in the up-tempo game against Phoenix. Since started the season late. Since coming, he's had a couple of really, really good games. He's going to give you a solid floor either way. You're looking at about 35 fantasy points with 50 fantasy point upside. So I think that Jimmy Butler is in a good spot here. Like I said, I just don't know if he's a guy I really want to kind of prioritize to get in my lineup. But I definitely like him. Booker, 8,700. I mean, Booker's just been balling. He's on the flip side of things. He may get a matchup against Jimmy Butler. It's kind of a tough matchup. Jimmy Butler's a really good defender. I like them though. I mean, it's the best scorer on their team. If they're going to be competitive all year long, like they've been playing right now, they're going to need Booker to continue to ball out. So I like Devin Booker. I think that you can look at Jimmy Butler and Devin Booker in this matchup going against each other. It should be a pretty fast paced, up tempo game as well. Then we'll kind of get you. We'll kind of move to real quick before I move to mention one more guy I'll throw out there. DeMar DeRozan. I think he's a guy you can look at 8,100. The price tag. I wish it was a little bit lower just because he does have some upside games, but he also has some games that are a little bit disappointing that kind of wouldn't have been value on this price tag. So GPP for me with DeMar DeRozan, but I think that he is in play. Lou Williams coming off a really big game last night where he scored 51, 52 fantasy points. I do want to mention he played 39 minutes and Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing in that game. So Lou Will did have the ball in his hands a lot more. You can't expect another 51 fantasy point game tonight. I definitely think he can have another really good game in a competitive game against Portland. 6,700. The price tag didn't even move at all. So I think it's still a buy low opportunity for Lou Williams. CJ McCollum, we talked about how it was a disappointing loss for the Warriors, and CJ McCollum played very bad. He's definitely up and down on the season, so he's a GPP play for me. Just because he has a couple, upside pretty good games, he has a couple of really duds that if we get those kind of duds on this price tag, it's going to crush our lineups. CJ McCollum, nonetheless, is in play today, going against the Clippers. Outside of that, I mean, there's nobody really on the lower end that's really standing out to me to kind of save some money at this particular spot. One guy you can possibly look at, you can look at Dwayne Bacon, 4,200. You need 21 for value. Last game, I mean, you see it, -1 against Indiana. He played horrible, but the game before, 41 fantasy points going against the Warriors. He already has a 36 fantasy point game as well. So he, like I said, he is showing us some upside, but it is a GPP play just because he's inconsistent. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game type stuff. Moving on, small forward. We talked about Kawhi Leonard going against Portland. Gives us a really solid floor, playing very well to start the season. Kawhi Leonard's a guy he's a guy that you really want to try to get in your lineup if you can. I just feel like I said, it's going to be a competitive game. His team lost yesterday. He's going to want to come out and ball up for sure. Gordon Hayward playing out of his mind. He gets a little bit of a downgrade just because Jaylen Brown is playing now. That's when Hayward really went on the streak these past couple games when Brown was out. But either way, man, I think that they figured it out. The Hayward's really starting to pick it up. They're going to play this guy his minutes, even with Brown coming back. I think his minutes are still going to stay pretty consistent, in the mid-30s. I think Hayward is a guy that you can consider today. Kelly Oubre is a guy. I've been playing this guy since the very start of the season. I mean, guys has been playing out of his mind, playing a ton of minutes. Outside of one game where he got in foul trouble, he's been balling. So. Past couple games, he's been a little bit down as far as he hasn't got the extra. He hasn't got the extra points that we've been. First 4 games he scored 18 or more. Past 3 games, 11, 15, and 14. They're going to need him to score. I like him, man. I think he's a guy that you can really look at today. Even at a 6,500 price tag in this matchup, I think it's a solid spot for Oubre. Danilo Gallinari, he's a guy they really need him to score. I'm out there in OKC if they're going to be consistent. 6,200. One thing I'm noticing, I will throw this out there. It's a smaller slate, so I feel some guys are a little bit overpriced based on what they've been doing. But at the same time, like I said, it's a smaller slate, so we have to play some guys. And if they're just a little bit overpriced, I mean, we kind of have to bite the bullet and we kind of have to roll with it. Danilo Gallinari is another guy that I feel, just like with Oubre, the past couple of games have been bad. But I mean, the upside's there for him and the upside's there for Oubre. And like I said, I mean, you get a little bit source of consistency. It may not be the consistency as far as the crazy upside you want, but if they're going to give you a solid floor, then you definitely got to consider them. I'm moving down. I think there's some value, in this position. Miles Bridges, 5,300. I think he's a guy you can definitely look at, playing a ton of minutes. I think that, like I said, I like him. You can look at Rudy Gay as well. 5,000. He's coming off the bench, playing around 26 to 28 minutes a game. And he does have some upside on this price tag. You need 25 for value. Rudy Gay will give you 40 fantasy point upside. A couple more guys. Hazonia, Rodney Hood. The problem is, I will tell you, the problem is that they have three guys that they're kind of sharing the position. You see Hazonia, the minutes are, he's playing about mid 25 minutes. Same thing with Rodney Hood. Actually, Rodney Hood's playing the bulk of the minutes. He's playing, 30 plus minutes a game. I think that Rodney Hood is definitely the safer of the two, with Hazonia, the more GPP play coming off the bench. And you even got Kent Bazemore, coming off the bench playing 22 to 25 minutes. So they just got a lot of guys out there. But you could definitely look at these guys. Rodney Hood, you see he's playing 30 plus minutes a game. If he has the minutes, he's a guy you definitely want to choose. But there's some value that we can look at down here, definitely. Power forward, Bam. I think Bam's the guy I'll start with in a solid spot, up-tempo game against Phoenix, who doesn't have a real big man, while DeAndre Ayton is out right now. Bam, this is a spot where I feel like he could definitely eat, and I like the matchup here. Bam's a guy. He's definitely in play. Jason Tatum playing very, very well. I think he's another guy that you can look at. One thing I will say, with Jaylen Brown coming back, I think it just gives everybody a little bit of a downgrade on Boston. They're still going to get there. Don't get me wrong. But Jaylen Brown's a guy that, they like having. They like that guy. He's going to play some minutes. He's a guy that controls the ball some as well. Tatum definitely still in play, but at 8,000, the price tag does make me a little nervous. I will throw that out there. LaMarcus Aldridge, for the Spurs, it's kind of been up and down season to start so far. It's not the best matchup going against Oklahoma City Thunder, especially if, say, he doesn't start at center, but say if they try to go a little bit smaller to bring some shooters in, and he does play center against Adams, is not the best matchup. But I think that he's going to give you a solid floor. He's averaging about 34 fantasy points a game. And at 8,000 price tag, we need about 40 for value. A couple more guys that we'll quickly throw out there. Saric from Miami. I think he's a guy, 5,100, playing, he's playing mid 25 minutes. Sometimes he gets 30 minutes. He does have a little bit of upside. We've seen the 36, almost 37 fantasy point game. We've seen a 48 fantasy point game. He's just inconsistent. It's a little bit more of a GPP play, but I think you could definitely consider him. If we're looking to pay down a little bit at this spot, he is a starter. And lastly, I will quickly throw out there Trey Lyles. I think Trey Lyles is the guy that we could consider. The minutes are kind of sporadic all over the place, but he's a guy that he fills up the stat sheet in limited minutes. You see the game against Atlanta, only played 19 minutes, got you 27 fantasy points. 2 games ago against the Warriors, he played 28 minutes. He got you 21 fantasy points without even scoring a basket. So, he just does a lot in other stats. He definitely is a really good rebounder, good defender. He's a guy that's coming on a cheap rate I think we could possibly look at. Tice is probable with the game time. Is probable with the ankle injury. Tice is a guy, 5,000 is still too cheap for what he's doing. He's playing, a bunch the bulk load of minutes at the big man. And he does a little bit of everything. Fills up stat sheet. He's a good defender. Rebounds the ball well. I think he's a guy we could definitely consider. I think he's a really good play right there at 4.9. Finish it off at center. First guy I'll start with, Montrezl Harrell. He's been in that starting lineup, and he's been just killing it, tearing it up, coming off a really, really monster game last night against Milwaukee. And like I said, a lot of these Clipper guys, their numbers are a little inflated from yesterday because Leonard didn't play. But I still think Harrell's giving you a really solid floor on a 6,900 price tag. He's a guy that really, really intrigues me at the center position. Hassan Whiteside going against the Clippers. On the flip side of things, Harrell's a smaller dude, and Whiteside, I feel, could dominate that matchup against Harrell. And at 7,500, coming off a solid double-double against the Warriors, 22 and 11. 7,500 is a good price tag for Harrell. A couple more guys we'll quickly throw out there. I got Cody Zeller playing very well. coming off a couple of dud games. I understand, but before these couple of games, he was playing the minutes. The biggest thing I'm noticing between the past two games compared to the first four is the minutes weren't there. And I think the minutes are going to get back up. He's their best center. He's a pretty good passer for a big man. He definitely rebounds the ball well. Could give him some buckets. So 6,500, the price has dropped a little bit, and he's a guy that's in play. You can look at Steven Adams, 6,000, a very fair price tag for him. We need about 30 for value. He's averaging 26 on the season. So, I mean, I think Adams is a solid play today. Definitely a solid play going against a Spurs team who doesn't have a very good big man. And like I said, if they try to throw Aldridge on Adams, I think that he'll just kind of toss Aldridge around. Get you a value guy out there. Myers Leonard, I think he's a guy, 4,800 we can look at as value. Before last game, we only played 17 minutes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got in foul trouble. He had 3 straight games of at least 24 minutes. And he had a couple upside games, 38, 24, 38, 35 at a 4,800 price tag. All we need is 24 for value. So I think he's a good play at the center spot if you do want to pay down. So that's really where I'm at, with my shoot around for today. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on your guys' contest, all right? Peace out.